Welcome back to the BroadStreet Sports Podcast featuring Zachary Chavey and Logan Burns.
What's up, everybody? So today we'll be talking about baseball and what happened throughout the summer, and then we'll move on to football because Week 1 starts tonight.
Yeah. So the summer was full of sports news, all that kind of stuff. It was an eventful summer to say the least. What's your thoughts on everything that happened in the world of sports over the summer?
I mean, we'll probably talk about basketball another day because that's a whole other can of worms because the Sixers are just the Sixers.
Yeah.
But baseball-wise, I mean, the Phillies have been popping off. That's a crazy team right there.
And Trey Turner.
Trey Turner woke up. I'm so happy. I don't know.
They need what he is giving to them right now is what they needed to make that push to Red October.
Yeah, I mean, I think he really helps there. I mean, all we had to do was just stand up and clap for him.
Yeah, and this is what we did. This is why we brought in him. That's why we paid him that money, so he can do this for us when it matters the most.
Yeah,
because he's starting this trajectory at the perfect time, and if he can carry this on to the postseason, we might win it all.
Yeah, I mean, Phillies probably. Yeah, our whole team are like hitters. Like, even like towards the end, they could do something like Rojas, Marsh. Like, they could do something. Like,
for sure.
They get on base every once in a while. Like, they do good, but it's just like everybody else, like Schwarber, Castellanos, Bohm's been crazy.
Yeah, Bohm, and then Stott.
Yeah,
Stott's been
really
so reliable, and then Harper. He's getting back into the swing of things. Like, that end of August, that entire August, I think, for him was great. He was hitting the ball out of the ballpark, getting so much power into the baseball. It was the Harper we know and what we paid him for in these past couple of years.
Yeah. Who do we play? He got that inside the park home run. Who were we
The Giants.
Playing the Giants,
yeah.
That was freaking awesome. I don't know.
Baseball, so we'll move into baseball now. We'll recap more basketball and hockey as they come back into fruition and with the season starting for them. But we're going to focus mostly, like Logan said, on baseball and football. We're going to get into baseball right now. Yeah. So, where baseball is right now, we are September 7th. We are in, the second week of really the last month and a half ladder of the season where you really get to see where these playoffs teams go. What are you most excited for, and what are you most excited to see with these teams trying to get into the postseason?
I mean, at this point, as a Phillies fan, so as the last couple of games I watched, the Phillies it's September now, so the Phillies are pretty much just gonna slow down because I know Game 2 against the Padres they didn't score a single point. It was 0-8, which is just I don't think we've done that in a while.
It's not the offense we've seen for at least a month and a half.
But I don't know. We have great hitters, and our starting pitchers are very good.
They looked better than last season, and there's guys who they can start off bad, but then they can come back, and then the offense being itself can get the runs on the board for help us win the game. And then one thing that's really been good is the bullpen. The bullpen, it's had its bad days, but for most of the season, it's always been there, and it's always played pretty well. And if we can have a very good bullpen like we had last year in the postseason, and it could be even better than that, sky's the limit.
I don't know. As I watched the last couple games, the bullpen have been rocky.
Especially that first game against the Padres. The entire pitching staff.
Even Kimbrel, I don't know what happened there. He's been choking the last couple of games.
Yeah,
he's
been.
Came in.
But it's also that old age probably got into him, and he's way past his prime days. But he's still got a little bit left in the tank. But we're not going to see the full shutdown version of him back when he was young.
Yeah, I guess. I understand that, but it's just even in the beginning of the year, he was still good. He seemed confident. He wasn't he was controlling the ball well, but now the last couple times I watched him, he hasn't been controlling the ball well. He's screwed up at least 2 games, and even against the Padres, he came in the 8th inning, and he struggled there. I mean, he won that inning, but he still struggled.
Yeah,
but Alvarado gave me 8 heart attacks. But that's Alvarado for you.
That's Phillies bullpen. They're always inconsistent. They're either good or they're really bad. But I mean, all that matters is how everybody plays in the postseason. Which I think the way the Phillies' trajectory is right now, they should get that 3rd wild card spot. The only way they don't is if they somehow play bad, because the Cubs are right there with them. The Cubs, what a turnaround for them! When the trade deadline hit, they thought they were going to be buyers. They won on an 8-game winning streak, just before the trade deadline. They kept all their players, and now they're most likely going to go to the playoffs, which with a team that's very good and very young. Like they're building for the future there.
They're what, 3 games behind us in the wild card?
Yeah,
right
2
now?
or 3, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be. Then they could still win the division.
It's gonna be a tough fight till the end.
Yeah, looking at the record for them and the Brewers, the Brewers are only up by 1 win. So
yeah, and they could say the Cubs go over the Brewers, they'll be the 3rd seed, and they'll be able to. That would be a really good sign for them going to the future.
Even then, though, you gotta watch just Braves and Dodgers. Those guys.
They're gonna run away with the first 2 seeds, without a doubt.
Crazy.
Their team. It's just this is the difference between those teams and the teams that are below them, like the Phillies, the Brewers, the Cubs, the Reds, the Giants. Their lineup 1-9 is an all-star team, especially the Braves.
Like record-wise, the Braves and Dodgers are better than the Phillies, but like the difference, like I compare the Phillies to the Braves and Dodgers. Like I think they're somewhat on that level. The only difference I have is we had a late start and they didn't.
Yeah,
that's the only reason the records.
They play good. March/April to September. They're always good, always reliable. It's just both those teams don't have the championships to prove it, but they're always in the postseason.
Yeah.
There's not much fireworks you're going to see out of them, especially with I think, and those 2 teams, it makes perfect sense. They have 2 guys. They have each guys on each side. They have the Braves have Matt Olson and Acuna, who are up for MVP, and then the Dodgers have Freeman and Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
It makes sense because both these teams are the best in the National League, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But just to see how their best players are going for the MVP just shows that why they're the best teams and why they're always good, because they bring the best out of players, and that's why they're succeeding, because when you have the best players in the game, it projects to your record, which it's showing, because the Braves have always had good players for these past couple years, and they've only had 1 World Series to show for it, just like the Dodgers. It's just they're like the perfect regular season team. Like, you know what you're gonna get out of them. You're gonna get 90, 100-win team. You just don't know what you're gonna get out of them in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, I still think when it comes to the playoffs, though, I think if the Braves or Dodgers play the Phillies, I think it's still gonna be a close game, because have you been to any Phillies games this year yet?
Mm-hmm.
I've been to a couple, so it's like pretty much the whole time it feels like a playoff atmosphere.
Yeah.
So imagine how it feels like when you actually get to the playoffs.
That's probably how the Braves felt last year.
And Trey Turner and Harper constantly praised the fans for what they did. Because I remember when we gave Trey Turner the standing ovation, and he ever since then, he came back and did really good. And when we did that, I don't know if you heard this, but he bought us.
Yeah, I
he
saw
bought
that.
The fans billboards.
Yeah, he bought a couple billboards in Philly and thanking the fans, because if you think about it, what do these players look for the most? The most they get out of this is the fans, because if the fans love them and appreciate them, then they'll play better, because Trey Turner knew he was struggling. It's tough to adjust to a city. Castellanos even said in an interview,
baseball is a difficult sport because the contracts are so long.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a big shift too. Dodgers to the Phillies.
You're going, don't get me wrong, LA's a big city, but Philly is a huge sports city. LA's obviously the bigger city, overall, but Philadelphia cares way more about the sports.
We make our opinion known.
Yes. With a bunch of players who've been run out of town or have been lifers.
Yeah, I mean, you're either loved or hated. There's no middle. There's no middle.
And then
ground.
I think what really was the turning point is when he came up to bat, and that everybody thought they were gonna name him Standing O. When he got that, he knew that the fans had his back, which he knew that with them having their back, with having his back, he knows that he doesn't have to feel alone, and he knows that he can play to his standards, and he did that.
Yeah. And even Bryce Harper, because after, I think a couple of days after Trey Turner bought the billboards, Bryce Harper was saying he loves the fans and he wished he started his career in Philly. So it's great to hear that.
And then he listens to W94 WIP every day before he comes to the ballpark. Yeah. Which, it's just the interaction you give with the fans pays so much dividends to them, because it knows that you love this city, and that means they'll support you, and they'll, you go through a struggle, they'll still support you. But then once you're on the top, as long as you give back to this city and know that you care, that's all they need to show affection for you and show that they care and know that you're supported by them.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't think I've ever met a Phillies fan who hates Bryce Harper. That man's like a baseball god. He hits home runs in like the best moments too.
Yeah.
Like he'll do nothing all game, but then like when you actually need him to do something, he'll just like smack it out of the park.
Mm-hmm. He'll be down as one of the best Philly heroes.
Yeah.
Like, I could just see it right now between him and Jalen Hurts. Like, they're guys that are loved by the city, and just the way they keep playing, it will just be known throughout the city.
Yeah,
so.
very much.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to talk about baseball? Anything you how you feeling about the postseason? How you feeling about the teams that are like matching up right now?
I mean, right now there are a couple of places where like teams have switched, like Brewers, Cubs. I mean, even like in the AL, like the race fell off a little bit. Right now the Orioles kind of came not out of nowhere, but like they kind of shot up.
Yeah, no, they were playing good all year, but now they're young players that they've brought up years after years are producing and are producing on a level that it's just crazy for their age.
Yeah.
But the division I want to talk about is the AL West. Because who knows who's going to win that division? It could either be the Mariners, the Rangers, or the Astros.
All three of them switch like every couple weeks.
Like it's a battle between those three, and they're all three great ball teams. But the team I want to talk about the most is the Seattle Mariners because they had high expectations going into this season. They made the playoffs last year. They broke the streak, and then they made a couple free agent additions.
Yeah.
And then to start off the season, they were really slow. Everybody thought it was just a fluke. They went into All-Star break. Really didn't do it was in Seattle, and Julio Rodriguez really got like the feel of his own ballpark. Yeah. But then they came back and just went on a tear. Like that team is really good, and the pitching, wow, it's really good too. Like, and then you can't go. And then Rodriguez, like he's come onto the scene so quick. It's really cool to see these young players taking over the league very quickly. Yeah. So
I don't know. I think this month. I feel like September it always kind of slows down a little bit. So
but you also get to see how teams really are. Are they contenders or pretenders? Like,
yeah, pretty much.
But there's one more question I gotta ask you before we move on to football. It's actually a three-parter. What team are you most surprised by? What team are you most disappointed in? And what team are you like, yeah, I'm not surprised the way they are right now. This could either be in a good way or a bad way, whatever you choose.
The one that surprised me is the Mets. I don't understand how they suck so bad. Like, even as a Phillies fan, it baffles me. Like, I'm not saying I want them to do good, but it's like, it's surprising me that they're not doing good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what happened there. Just, like, what they're doing. I don't know. The team that doesn't surprise me that they're doing bad is the A's. I mean, that's not a surprise. And then, like, the team for me that's doing good, I mean, like, probably, like, the Cubs. Like, I didn't expect them to do this good. Like, I don't know.
Like, they made some good moves to their rebuild.
Yeah.
But the rebuild going this quickly, already them getting into the playoffs, is a huge step ahead. With them still having players they could bring up.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, crazy to think a team could go, like, a couple weeks before the trade deadline, they could go from sellers to buyers that quickly. Yeah. Like, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, we're going to move on to football, the final part. So, football, we got some football tonight.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to select our, or do you want to talk about
we'll talk about
so,
let's talk about the off season. What's your like thoughts on the off season, everything that happened?
I want to talk about this little guy. I want to talk about DeAndre Hopkins. That pissed me off so much. I did not expect him to go to the Titans. Let me explain to you something. He clearly went to the Titans for money.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He says it's because he'll be the number one guy.
Well, he obviously will, but
not receiver guy. If you compare him with Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
I think Derrick Henry's better.
No, he's going to be the number one receiving
option.
Yeah,
it's definitely receiver.
But he will not be the number one option on that team because the Titans, even when they had A.J. Brown, if Derrick Henry, when he was the only reason A.J. Brown had an opportunity and had a great season before he came to the Eagles is because Derrick Henry was hurt that year.
Yeah.
But if Derrick Henry's healthy, DeAndre Hopkins is going to get his chances, but the offense is going to be completely built around Derrick Henry because that's the last of what they have for this team to actually compete for the division because they're not a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
The best they can do is compete for that division because they only have to compete with one team, which is the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Which I think they're easily going to beat them.
Yeah.
The offseason they have, they didn't really get anybody, but they're getting somebody added onto their team. Calvin Ridley, who's looked like an absolute beast, and people have talked about DJ Moore making the impact for Justin Fields like A.J. Brown did for Jalen Hurts and Stephon Diggs for Josh Allen. I think with Calvin Ridley getting in there and then having Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, Travis Etienne, and Tank Bixby, I think that's going to... Trevor Lawrence was already pretty good last year. It's going to project this game even more this year because he has the targets, he has the coach, and he has the defense that is building and is young. Like, this is their Jaguars' chance to show that they can contend. I don't think they can get a Super Bowl, per se, but to put their name out there saying that they're one of the best teams in the AFC.
Yeah. I mean, the AFC is so wild to me because, like, even, like, the teams that will do bad in the AFC could still be all right in, like, the NFC. Like, take the Browns, for example. They're not going to the playoffs. They'll probably go at least, like, 8 and 9. But even if you compare them to, like, the NFC teams, I think that's still, like, a top 6. That's, like, not even a bottom 5 NFC
It's just
team.
tough to say. I feel like, yeah, they can contend, but it really depends on the way Deshaun Watson plays because that's their biggest factor. Because you think about it, Joe Burrow has already proved everything. Lamar Jackson just needs to stay healthy, and the Ravens will be fine. Kenny Pickett, he has an amazing sophomore season. The Steelers, who knows what they could go to because the defense is always good. They have Kenny Pickett. They're building a young offense with George Pickens, Pat Frymuth, Najee Harris, and then they got veteran guys in Deontay Johnson and Allen Robinson. They have the team set up. They just need Kenny Pickett to hit his level. But the other two quarterbacks, like I said, Lamar and Joe Burrow, they both hit their levels once they stay healthy to stay on his level. But Deshaun Watson, you don't know what version you're going to get out of him. This is his year to prove that contract he got was worth it. Because if he does prove it, they could easily win that division. Because if Deshaun Watson plays well, he could be. I feel like the Browns could be right under the Bengals competing for that division because think about it, the Browns they have a better offense than the Ravens, for sure. Yeah. And then the defense is almost the same. So. Yeah. And then the Steelers, of course, it's just like, Mike Tomlin will always get them they'll always play tough. They'll be a tough team to play, but they're not gonna they might not win a lot of games, but they're always gonna have a positive record. It's just I think that's the toughest division going into this year because you don't know who could go out of that division as the winner because it's so unpredictable.
I don't think Mike Tomlin has a losing.
He hasn't. He hasn't had a losing record as entire time coaching the Steelers.
Well, he's doing something right then.
Mm-hmm. He just produces guys who play like they're playing to their abilities and they're playing they're not always going to win, but they're going to give their best effort every single week. Yeah. Which that's a good team. That's a perfect way of coaching, but it's might not always result in the championships, but still, it's still a great way to coach and show that you care about the players and the players give their entire effort.
If you happen to have a losing season in your entire career, you're obviously doing something, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's still impressive. Look at Bill Belichick. Yeah. He's one of the best coaches in the league, or even, in NFL history. He's one of the best ones. And look at the Patriots now. They suck.
Yeah, because, to be honest with you, I think it's... Alright, I gotta ask you this question. Did Brady make Belichick the person he is, or did Belichick make Brady the person he is?
I think it was a little bit of both.
A little bit of both?
A little bit of both.
Because those two just had a great connection together that I see with Mahomes and Andy Reid, but I think that's even better because they actually have championships. But Mahomes, most likely, he's going to get more championships, most likely. But, Brady and Belichick, it looked like they had, nothing wrong. Towards the end, the ice was breaking, but...
Well, this is how I see it, because it's in the beginning of Tom Brady's career, I think it was Belichick kind of helping Tom Brady out, because Tom Brady was drafted in the 6th round, something like that?
He
went really late.
6th round in 2001.
Yeah, he went really late. And then look at him now, compare where he started to where he is now. So I think in the first couple of years, it was Bill Belichick helping Tom Brady out, and then I think a little bit before 2009, 2008, Tom Brady was all right, I'm helping you out now. Mm-hmm. And then all that happened.
Yeah.
Patriots dynasty happened and all that.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it. That's why
Yeah.
I say a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So
That's-
it's like
that's good reason.
I think it switches.
That's good reasoning. But now, since I brought up the Chiefs, let's talk about tonight's game.
Yeah.
Lions Chiefs opening kickoff Thursday night football on NBC. What do you expect to see in this game, and what are you most looking forward to?
Well, I think the Lions win by 10. Let's just get that out of the pocket. I think the Lions win by 10.
It's a bold take, but you'd be surprised. People I've talked to, that a lot of people have said Lions, because Dan Campbell's just like a different kind of coach. Like, he seems like he cares about the players and he wants them to succeed. And having a coach that supports you no matter what could project you to crazy amount of wins.
Yeah. What did he say? He is like the funniest coach. What does he say? I don't care if you have one ass cheek and like 3 toes. I will beat your ass. That's just like legendary. That's a coach right there, my friend. That's an NFL coach.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Lions win by 10 because like let's look at their offense. Their offense has got really good. Like they picked up Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, and then they still have Raw and Jared Goff.
And they got David Montgomery.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about him.
And who else do they have in receiver? They don't have Jamison Williams,
Nah,
but
he got suspended.
it's all right.
How
But
was that? 3 or 6 games?
6 games.
6 games. Yeah, you're gambling.
Who else receivers do they have?
I only know those 2.
They have other guys that are
Yeah.
reliable though. But
Yeah.
Amon Ra is a beast. Like this is his season to go out and make himself a top 15 receiver.
Yeah, I feel like he already is. I mean, like
maybe top 10 then.
yeah, he's a little bit below top 10. I at least had him at like 12. I mean, like 12, 11. Realistically,
Yeah.
I mean, that seems pretty good.
Borderline top 10.
Yeah, like he's no lower than 15.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe on some people, but like not on mine. Like he's a little bit
He
below.
just has like a tiny bit more to prove. Like if he has one more good season this year, he's a legit receiver.
If the
He's
Lions win the division, I think he might be top 10 at that point because they'll definitely be a big part
If
of
he
that.
finishes top 5 in receiving this year, let's say,
definitely.
then he's a top 10 receiver. Nobody can argue it.
Yeah. And then like let's look at the Chiefs here. They got 4 really good players: Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Chris Jones. Chris Jones ain't playing because he hasn't got paid. Travis Kelce hurt his knee,
so he's
so now they only have 2.
50-50, yeah.
And Andy Reid's a coach, so that can only go so far.
But Mahomes is a Superman when he comes to quarterback, and except for Kadarius Toney, he has like Valdez Scantling and stuff like that. Guys who've made plays, but if you didn't know them, they made plays. You have no idea whatsoever who they were.
Yeah.
But Mahomes can make them look like the next Randy Moss or Jerry Rice because the way he can just connect with the receiver, even if he doesn't have chemistry with them, it's just like what makes him the best quarterback in the game.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I still think the Lions win. I think they have the most to work with, and I don't know. Chiefs are bugging me too. I don't like the Chiefs very much anymore.
So, alright. What are you most excited for into this game, and then we'll move on to the picks.
In this game, I want to see Sam Laporta at least give me like at least 1 touchdown, just for fantasy. That's all I want to see. That's all I want. I want at least like 1 touchdown.
Okay.
Bonus if it's like 76 yards plus.
Alright, let's get into our picks then.
Yeah.
Alright, so obviously Lions, Chiefs. I'm going with the Lions as well because I just think having even if they don't have Travis Kelce, then that makes a big difference. But I just think the Lions are going to come in. This was a great point brought up last year. I thought about this, or like somebody talked about it. The Bills, they went into LA last year after LA won the Super Bowl, and people picked the Rams to win, and then the Bills went in there. They destroyed them.
Yeah.
They had no chance of winning. The Lions, if Kelce doesn't play, could do the exact same thing. Because Jared Goff, he's a reliable.
Jared Goff is annoyingly consistent.
Yes.
And if you look at it, 2022 consistently, Jared Goff did do better than Josh Allen. Just saying.
Yeah.
Statistically.
And the Lions do score a lot of points.
Yeah.
And the big thing is they improved on defense. Let me name the moves they made. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah.
Cameron Sutton. Emmanuel Mosley. Like, those 3 guys right there, sliding them into their defense, which is already not that bad, just pays huge dividends. I think the big story is this game. If Mahomes turns over the ball once or twice, it could completely change the game. Especially if he doesn't have Kelce.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Kelsey's a tight end, but like on the Chiefs, he's just receiver one.
Mhm.
Like I'm not even.
Like-
No one's gonna deny that.
Like, if he's not on that offense, they still have tight ends that Mahomes can throw to, but they don't get as open and can make as...
Yeah.
Like, Kelsey, he's the best run-after-catch
Yeah.
person I've ever seen
I
as
think-
a tight end.
I think Kelsey's just so good because he's just so big and it's really hard to block him. There are only like a few guys.
And
that
he can
block.
turn a 5-yard play into a 50-yard touchdown. Because,
he's
like,
just so big. And
his
just,
run-after-catch is so much better than even most receivers in the NFL.
Yeah.
But not having him there, it's much easier to cover the tight end, and instead of big plays, it's maybe short plays for the tight end because they don't have that as much athleticism and run-after-catch as Kelsey does. But I want to give you 3 people that are big storylines tonight. Isaiah Pacheco. He could be a huge person in tonight's game.
Yeah.
Kadarius Toney. He's the number 1 receiver, I think, going into tonight.
Probably.
He will be Mahomes' number 1 guy. And then I'm going to give you one guy on the Lions. I think the person who makes the biggest difference, Sam Laporta, because because the Chiefs, they have Bolton and Willie Gay. I want to see how he responds to like getting covered by a corner or linebacker. Because Sam Laporta, he's Lions. He's pretty much replacing T.J. Hawkinson. If he can get them T.J. Hawkinson production, then the Lions will be fine. I think if Sam Laporta has a big game, it really impacts on how the Lions play.
Yeah, I know.
And
I know he
win or
did good.
lose.
I know he did good practicing with him, and Dan Campbell has had nothing bad to say about him, so I have high hopes.
Mm-hmm. All right then. Final thing of today, we are going to do our picks for week 1. So we already said Lions. Do you want to pull the schedule real quick? Or?
Yeah, here I have it up.
All right, so we're gonna go, next game we're gonna go to is the Bengals and Browns. Who do you have winning that game?
Bengals, Browns. I have the Bengals winning.
Me as well, because like you do have to take it into effect though that the Bengals do struggle against the Browns quite a lot.
Yeah, but I still think the Bengals win because I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm.
I think there's always going to be a struggle since it's a division game. So.
And the Browns always play tough on defense, so
Yeah.
And I want to see what that Bengals defense looks like after losing a bunch of pieces. So
Yeah, but their offense is still so
Mhm.
good.
So and then what about Texans Ravens?
I think the Ravens win. The Texans have nothing.
Yeah, like I think what do you think of C.J. Stroud? Do you think he'll play well this game?
I don't know. I honestly.
Because it's a tough, as a rookie, that's a tough first game to go into it against a defense that is very good.
My problem with it is I'll say this now. He'll probably do good tonight, but like out of the 3 with Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, and then Anthony Richardson, I think out of those 3, C.J. Stroud's going to be the bust.
You think he's going to be the
I
bust?
think he's going to be the bust.
I think
he'll do all right.
the biggest thing with him, I'm thinking is in the NFL, he's going to struggle with turnovers a lot. I feel like he might throw a lot of picks his first year, but then he could transition to being a guy who's elite the next year. He's the biggest boomer bust, I think.
I don't think he'll do like really, really bad like Josh Rosen.
This is
like I think he'll just do like alright. I think he'll be like Derek Carr level. I don't think he'll be like a franchise.
I think he can either be the best or worst quarterback in this thing. Bryce Young, I think sky's the limit for him unless he can stay healthy.
Continue.
And then Anthony Richardson, as long as he can throw the football, like he can show me that he can throw the football accurately, he'll be fine.
Yeah,
so
Anthony Richardson's crazy though, because I watched him during a preseason game. He's so big. The only thing holding him back is the Colts.
Yeah, true.
That's literally it.
All right, let's move on then. Buccaneers Vikings. This is gonna be a high scoring game because both these defenses are up and down.
Yeah, I still think the Vikings win because it's like, do we really trust Baker Mayfield?
Absolutely not.
Let's take a step back.
Absolutely
It's Baker
not.
Mayfield here. Like Kirk Cousins or Baker Mayfield. I think I'm gonna take
Kirk Cousins, especially not being in prime time and 1 p.m. where Kirk Cousins shines the most. Yeah.
I think it should be somewhat of a good game, but I don't know. I still think the Vikings.
Baker Mayfield, I think at least throws 2 picks. I think there's gonna be a point too where Mayfield throws a pass, or like he has Evans open and Evans goes back to line screaming at him saying he was wide open because like I feel like Mayfield's gonna be under too much pressure and make a lot of bad passes when he shouldn't need to. And he's gonna Mike Evans is gonna get really frustrated. He's gonna leave either way after the season, but I want to see how that storyline goes throughout the season.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, so
Panthers and Falcons both have very big rookies playing in this game. Bijan Robinson for the Falcons and Bryce Young for the Panthers.
I think this is literally like a coin toss here because it's like they both really have nothing to work with. I think the Falcons win. I think B.J. Robinson just goes
I'm going to take the Falcons too, but I think there is one marginal difference that I have the Falcons over the Panthers. The way they improve their defense over this offseason is going to pay huge dividends in this game and might force a couple turnovers on Bryce Young, especially it's his first game in the NFL, so...
Yeah. I think that game's probably going to be... That's probably going to be the roughest game to watch, just because... I don't know. Maybe since it's like...
Bijan Robinson is going to get a lot of carries, and then you got to think about Drake London, too, because... Yeah. But I want to see how Desmond Ridder plays.
Yeah, he's a bit of a sleeper, I guess.
Alright, Cardinals-Commanders.
Cardinals-Commanders. I think the Commanders win, but I think that game's probably going to be, like, the worst. That's probably going to be, like, the lowest scoring game.
Commanders. Not much to say about that one. Let's move on. Jaguars, Colts. I think we're going to see some strides out of Anthony Richardson. Yeah. But the Jaguars will still prevail.
Yeah, I think the Jags won. I think T. Lawrence is just that guy. Mm-hmm. He's a blonded angel. Like, let's go.
Yeah. Who do you have? 49ers, Steelers.
Steelers. I have the Niners. I don't know. I think the Steelers defense, just like T.J. Watt, I think he has a good game. He gets at least like 2 stacks on Purdy. But I still think the Niners win. I think they can't stop the whole defense.
I have the Steelers, in my opinion.
Steelers?
Yeah, I had the Steelers because I think Tomlin's going to go into that game. Them not having George Kittle looking like the Niners.
Yeah.
And then Nick Bosa just getting paid, which will help. But I just think that the 49ers also lost a captain on that defense in Jimmy Ward.
Yeah.
So that could be a huge day for Darnell Washington and Pat Freiermuth when it comes to the tight end. And George Pickens, I just think he's the next breakout star in this league when it comes to wide receiver because he just has so much potential. And if he puts it out there and Kenny Pickett, is actually as good as we think he could be, the Steelers team could be really good. So,
I mean, I don't have the Steelers going to playoffs this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if they made a wild card spot.
Yes.
That's how I put it.
And then to have it compete, they don't win it, but they show great strides and they barely lose. They compete really well in it.
Yep, they're gonna go 9-8. They always do. Woo! All right, so we got Titans, Saints. I have the Saints winning.
Me as well, because I just think them getting Derek Carr is gonna make a big difference, and then him being able to actually play quarterback, unless with the other quarterbacks they had, which were good but not as reliable. But Derek Carr actually having experience is gonna help the Saints offense is already good with Chris Olave, hopefully a healthy Michael Thomas, Jamal Williams, and then Jawan Johnson at tight end. So
I don't have any hope of Michael Thomas. I expect him to get hurt.
But Chris Olave could be a huge person, and he could have the biggest. I think his sophomore year could be one of his. He could be one of the biggest breakout sophomore year candidates this year.
Yeah, I think Chris Olave is probably going to be their number one weapon, at least receiving wise. Mm-hmm. And then running back wise, they have Alvin Kamara when he comes back off suspension, and then Jamal Williams, who's just really good at his job too.
Yeah. All right, let's move on then. We got Raiders Broncos. I'm not going to put much explanation into this. It's the Broncos because the Raiders downgraded from Derek Carr to Jimmy G, and they still have Josh McDaniels as head coach. There's not much else to say.
Yeah, I'll probably go with the Broncos too, because I don't know.
And Sean Payton, if he makes Russell Wilson look good in Week 1, the Broncos, I think it really comes down to the coach.
Yeah.
With Sean Payton being better, and then the quarterback Russell Wilson, I would take over Jimmy G. So.
Yeah. I still think that game's somewhat of a coin toss too, because it's they both aren't that good either.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think they could be the bottom feeder of the AFC West.
Yeah, I'll probably take the Broncos too.
All right, who do you? So we got Eagles, Patriots.
If the Eagles lose, I'm gonna be furious.
Me too.
If the Eagles lose, this is a scenario I have in my head of this is how they lost. I think Mac Jones has a pathetic performance quarter 1, and then Tom Brady's I'm gonna run it back just one more game, and then that's how they lose. Just
I mean, it would make sense for Brady.
He walks back to the locker room, grabs a helmet and a jersey, and he's like, Bill, let's run it back one more time. Let's go. That's the only scenario I see us losing, even then.
Yeah. I just think Jalen Hurts, the Patriots defense, we'll have too much to deal with Jalen Hurts, and then us having DeAndre Swift, Penny, Gainwell, Scott in the backfield, and then the Patriots defense. It's good, but we have too many weapons with Goddard, Brown, Watkins, Zacchaeus, and Smith.
Yeah.
And then on the Patriots' offensive side of the ball, for them to succeed, they're going to need to run the ball because there's no chance they're passing the ball on this team because even if Mac Jones has time, Juju Smith-Schuster might not be playing.
Yeah.
So then they're down to Devontae Parker, Kendrick Bourne, like guys who are good but like easily going to get locked down by Slay and Bradbury and Avonte Maddox. And then that pass rush is ferocious. Like Jalen Carter, I'm predicting him to have the first sack of the season. I just think he's going to be so dominant that he'll be able to get to Mac Jones early in the game and sack him. Like that easy. Like I think in his head right now, he is mad. Like all these teams passed up on him, and he's going to teach them a lesson.
Yeah, I don't know. I think when he does get the sack, I feel like he'll just get like the timing down right. Just from Mac Jones says hike, he'll get the timing down right, right before the O-line.
It'll be like one of those plays where he reads the snap perfectly, and as soon as he says hike, it's
precision. Yeah, it's literally just right through the O-line. I don't know.
All right, let's move on. We got Rams, Seahawks.
Seahawks.
There's not much to say. Rams, Cooper Kupp's already out, so.
I forgot. Oh shit!
Yeah, so with that Seattle secondary being rebuilt and good again, there's no chance the Rams stand a chance.
And the Seahawks, Geno Smith's consistent, and
their offense is going to destroy that defense.
They have like a top 3 receiving core. Jackson Smith the jig, but really finished that off cleanly.
All right, so we got Dolphins-Chargers. In my opinion, this is going to be the highest scoring game of the week because these are two great offenses, but you don't know what you're going to get out of the defense, especially with the Dolphins losing Jalen Ramsey till December. So,
and even then, when he comes back, there's always going to be a slow start for at least like the 2 games.
Sure.
But I have the Dolphins winning because with Tua, Tyreek, and Weddle, I just believe in those 3. Like if Tua played in the playoffs last year against the Bills, I think they could have won that game. They barely lost that.
With Skylar Thompson.
Yeah. And if you watch that game, Tyreek Hill was open, and that guy didn't throw to him for some reason.
Well, he's not the best quarterback.
Yeah, so. I know, but I don't know. Tyreek Hill is wide open.
I have the Chargers winning, though, because I think, like I said, bringing up Ramsey, that's going to make a huge difference. And the way Herbert can play, Herbert's one of those quarterbacks. He's going to be one of the best in the league, but he'll have nothing to show for it because he's always on a dysfunctional franchise or organization.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we got Packers and Bears, America's game of the week. Who do you have winning that one?
I think that one's still kind of I think the Bears win, but I feel like that's on some levels still a twin cost too. It's like I could see either team winning. I think the Bears win. I think
me as well because I think the offense of Justin Fields, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, Darnell Mooney, Mercedes Lewis, and Robert Tonyan, and Khalil Herbert and Dante Foreman. That's just too much weapons for Fields to have, which is going to help him improve so much. And then having DJ Moore, like a true number 1 receiver, Jaire Alexander's going to be on the entire game, but eventually he's going to break through. And then I don't know what Jordan Love we're going to see. I
think Jordan Love, this would be he's probably going to be, honestly, if he has a good year this year, he'll probably be their next franchise quarterback. He isn't bad. If you watch some of his highlights, he's done some pretty clean stuff.
Yeah, he has the potential, but
so
that's going to be. I think that's going to be like a 16-13 game. It's going to be well played football, but not much points on the board.
Yeah, I just think the Packers are going to be last in the division.
Really?
Yeah, I think the Bears do a little bit better than them, and then the Vikings, Lions, they're going to do better.
I think Lions 1, Vikings 2, Bears 3.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, so now we're moving on to primetime Sunday Night Football. Who do you have, Giants or Cowboys?
Giants. I don't know.
And it's in MetLife Stadium.
It's
East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me because I remember the Giants last year in their offense, but they added some stuff. So
and that Jalen Hyatt has looked amazing.
Yeah, and I got Dale Waller. I don't know.
And Barkley's back.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot he signed that contract. I don't know. It's hard for me to judge. I want to say because the Cowboys do have a better team, but I'm gonna say the Giants. I think Cowboys and Giants split for the year. And Giants win one home and then
Giants win this one. You think?
Yeah.
I think the Giants win this one as well because I think people are saying the pressure's not going to get to Dak. The pressure's going to get to Dak with
Bullshit.
Trey Lance being
Jerry
in there.
Jones fucks up
Yeah.
a quarterback. I'm telling you, that's the only reason Dak's so bad. It's Jerry
Mhm.
Jones. He's fucking with him.
Yeah.
Only reason.
It's going to get to him. And this is what I've been telling people. Say the Cowboys start off 0-2, right?
Yeah.
Let's say one game's Dak's fault and another game he played great, but they ended up losing. All the blame is going to go on Dak. No
Yeah.
matter how they play, how he plays.
Always goes to the quarterback.
Yeah, because he's under the most pressure right now. He's under the most fire. So,
Yeah, and they got Trey Lance.
Mhm. So, all right, let's move on to our final pick of the day. It's a Monday Night Football game, Bills-Jets. Aaron Rodgers' debut as a New York Jet. Who do you think takes the win?
Okay, well, first of all, this has nothing to do with the game, but like I'm assuming you saw Aaron Rodgers in the new Jets uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like Aaron Rodgers dressing up in like a Jets uniform costume. Like he got that shit from Party City. Like that helmet looks so weird on him.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get that out of the way. Just how he has the helmet. It looks
Yeah.
weird.
I've seen it. Yeah.
I don't know if it's because his head's so long. I don't fucking know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is gonna be probably the best game this week.
Really?
I think it's two really good teams on Monday Night Football. It's two really good teams. I don't know because the Jets have a really good team on paper, and even last year they didn't do bad. Like they won what 7-10.
7-10 after starting like 6-3 though. So.
Yeah.
And that was with Zach Wilson. So
Yeah.
who knows what they'll do with Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, so they built up their offense really well, and then their defense they gained a little bit, but I don't know. I think their defense. I don't know. I think the Jets win.
Me too. I think
Yeah.
the Jets take this one because the Bills, they always seem to struggle early, and not having Von Miller is going to make an impact. But I think the Bills will still win that division.
Yeah, I don't know. That's gonna be. I'm gonna love to watch that division play through.
Yeah.
They're all so good.
Except for the Patriots, I think. The
Yeah,
Patriots will be fourth.
Yeah.
Because all
Even
those
then, they
three
won't
other
be bad.
teams, especially if the Dolphins get back Jalen Ramsey and they're playing so well, that could play huge.
Even the
dividends.
Patriots, like they'll be last, but they won't even do bad. They'll probably go like 8-9.
Yeah, 7-10. Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Mm-hmm.
So
All right.
it's like.
Anything else you got left to say, or?
No. All I had to say is let's go. Football's back.
Yes.
I mean,
And
Very
hopefully
good.
get a good game tonight.
Yeah.
Maybe an upset.
yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think it'd be an upset. I think an upset is the Chiefs win.
Sheesh.
I think that's the upset. I don't
Alright, well, we're going to end on that note. It is good to be back. Good to start it up again. This is the end of the episode. By the way, we'll be now posting on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so be on the lookout for that. And any last words you got to say?
No.
Alright, well, this is going to wrap up today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will talk to you later.
All right, see ya.
Peace.